Okay, my friends, this is quite literally the most impactful letter we've ever gotten for Test Drive Unlimited Solo Crown. There's a ton of information in this, and it's titled The Competitive Experience. Not only does it go over races in the game, it goes over the game's concept, tuning, customization, the streets and sharps a little bit more, and so much more, including ranked. Which, yes, ranked is of course in Test Drive Unlimited Solo Crown, and it's been implemented pretty damn good. So without further ado, let's get straight into this, guys. The competitive experience. And hold on, scratch that. In the background, let's take a look at launch control on the Corvette C7 ZR1 with a wheel cam. Yes, now before we even get into that gameplay, which let me snap my fingers and show you guys a little bit of tease there. Let's get straight back to this trailer. Now, I'm going to be referencing the trailer, which showed off some of the tracks. It also showed off the underground parking garages and showed off some tuning customization. And honestly, there's a ton of information there. So let's get back to the letter, guys. Dear members, by watching our recent trailer, The Racer, you got a taste of how responsive and dynamic our game can be. And the more competitive among you loved it. While the Cruiser trailer gave you a look at more relaxed driving experience with the radio playing, the Racer video showed you another way to play a TDU. One that illustrates how much fun it is to win races, take on other players, upgrade your car, and constantly strive for better performance. Today, we'd like to take another look at this important part of Test Drive Unlimited Solo Crown, which will take you to the top, competitive racing. So here we go. The very first thing, streets versus sharps in real time. So a lot of you have already expressed a preference for one of the two clans in TDU SC, the streets, yes sir, and the sharps. Whether it's for personal reasons or the kind of cars, clothes, or music you like, or you're already leaning in a particular direction. Each clan defends and promotes its own vision of luxury and passion for cars. And here's a quick little screenshot of two of the characters in the game. Now we can reference this back to the TDU Connect clip, which you guys can see up on the screen right now. We have what seems to be one of the street challengers and also one of the sharp challengers located with some pretty fire outfits in this game, I must admit, although I'm not really a huge fan of the spikes, but hey, that's just me. Now continuing on, it does say, with its stunning landscapes, Hong Kong Island is the ideal setting for a battle for influence between the two clans. Even though you don't have to ally yourself with either of the two clans, helping one of them to come on top will help you achieve your objectives faster and unlock exclusive clan rewards. Now it's worth noting again, it is saying that you don't have to join any of the clans. You can progress through the game without playing anything from that part of the game. You don't have to, which again is a very key thing to TDU. You can do whatever you want in the game, progress how you like. Moving on though, it does say entering the Solo Crown competition means you will want to acquire new cars throughout the event. This could be because you want something more prestigious with higher performance or a car better suited for a certain challenge. There are a lot of ways you can acquire them. So does say taking part in driving challenges, on or off-road races, time trials, etc. Exploring and discovering new districts, roads, secret areas, etc. Finding and completing wrecks so you can restore iconic cars only accessible by exploring the island, and then using Frim to perfect your driving skills and earn solar coins. Now, in addition to activities organized by the Solo Crown, you can defend your clan's colors by taking part in clan races and by throwing down an instant challenge to members of the opposing clan, which again, we're gonna get into instant challenges right now, guys. Now it does say, while enjoying a relaxing drive around the streets of Hong Kong Island, chilling out to your favorite music station, you suddenly hear a deep roar of an engine behind you. A visibly fired up player seems to be goading you. They flash their high beams confirming their intentions. You only have the bare minimum of information, so you see the name, clan, car, and performance rating, and the amount of solo coins at stake. That's all it takes for the clash of egos to spill over, and there's no way you'll let this player from the opposing clan provoke you and win a duel. Once the challenge has been accepted, you'll start a head-to-head race along with a unique route that is randomly created and depends on the location on the island. And it does say each player has already configured their betting profile and the amount that they are ready to stake. Once the challenge has been started, the goal is to cross the line before the other player and win the pot. If the player you beat is from a rival clan, your influence in your clan increases and you help your clan's ultimate aim of ruling over the island. And instant challenges are a fast and exciting way of competing against other players with no limits on vehicle or performance ratings. They are 100% improvised and organized between the players. And of course, they can also be disabled if you're not into that sort of thing. Once turned off, other players can no longer challenge you, but you will have less influence within your clan. And just to compare this to TD2, it's literally exactly the same. So in the settings menu, you can change your stake and it went all the way up to 50,000, which for reference in this screenshot I'm showing you guys right now, you can see that they already set this to 50,000. So that being said, I'd like to assume that 50,000 is also the max in TDU SC. and again, you can set it within your menu. And then obviously, let's hop back to TDU 2. You can see you flash your high beams, and there's another one that says co-driving. Unfortunately, we don't know if that's been confirmed to be in the game yet, but choose it as a challenge and race whoever you'd like online against other players with this stake at hand. Pretty interesting, and that's how it's going to work in TDU SC. It was shown in the trailer, which I must admit, the random routes, having tried it for myself, are pretty damn fun. But now let's move on to the next part about TDU SC, live events. So on Hong Kong Island, new temporary activities appear each week, which give you access to exclusive rewards and mouth-watering sums of solar coins. There are several types. So you have lifestyle battles. Now, these races embody the rivalry between streets and sharps. During these challenges, each clan tries to impose its vision of luxury and racing on Hong Kong Island. There are 5 different types: instant challenge, LBs, which LB, by the way, obviously refers to lifestyle battles, where you win the most instant challenges. And you have frantic spender, which you spend the most money, and then maximum gain, which accumulate the most money, so obviously earning it. And then need for Frim, which you earn the most solar coins in Frim, and betting challenges, where you win the most solar coins in instant challenge bets. So basically, it kind of works collectively as a clan. And again, easy way for me to explain this is referencing the Nakon Connect gameplay reveal, which up on the screen, I actually mentioned it at 2 of the HQs. You guys can see up on the screen that there's actually a challenge currently active in this, and of course, streets up. The streets were winning this challenge. Moving on though, you also had hotheads, which time attacks are randomly selected to become hothead races each day on Hong Kong Island. So it seems hotheads are basically a daily activity where you can do this, and players need to achieve the best possible time and climb as high as possible on the leaderboard by the end of the day. And the amount of solar coins you earn depends on where you finish. This kind of reminds me of as you can say, summit challenges from the crew. That's probably the easiest way to reference this, but that's basically what it reminds me of. And you also have high stakes, which is just like hotheads, but time attacks are randomly selected to become high stake races, and when an event becomes a high stakes, a new target time is set. Participants get 3 chances to try and beat the time. You also need to pay an entry fee for each attempt. Kind of getting some CRC vibes here, which I really do hope we see the CRC return to TDU SC at some point. But continuing on, it does say the entry fees are added to the overall pot and then splits among the drivers who beat the target time. So that's a very nice thing to add to the game as well. And then some of you got the chance to try out Hotheads mode and the first lifestyle battle instant challenge during the closed playtest number 2. It was a sneak peek and an initial chance to take on the best players in the Solar Crown. So hey, listen, speaking of playtest, yes, a new playtest is coming, but I'll get to that at the end of the video. So moving on though, let's go over a variety of races to see what type of races are in TDU SC. So we got in TDU SC, you can take part of different types of races to increase your reputation in the Solar Crown competition. As you've seen through the different Solar Club letters, the stories in Test Drive involve many players. That's also what we're aiming for with the races. This means all races are primarily multiplayer events, so you will face other players in each of them. If there aren't enough players in an event, AI drivers will fill up their starting grid. Let me repeat that, guys. This means all races are primarily multiplayer events. So this is basically, it's never been done before, guys, and being totally honest with you, and this is either going to deter quite a few people but also get more people interested. Basically, they've gone all in on this whole social MMO aspect of TDU, and that means that it seems that there's no solo campaign except for the actual Sharp Streets clan when you decide to face the challenges within your clan HQ. And in fairness, this is something they mentioned way back in 2021, if I remember correctly. It's been a while, but I'll pop up on the screen the specific moment where you'll see either Alain Jarnou that said it, or I hope I don't mess up his name, the lead game designer on TDU SC, Guillaume. But it's either one of those two, but again, on the screen, you're probably going to see it, and that's what they said anyways. And with that being said, I think it's fair to assume that this game is going to be online only, which again, might piss off some more people. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not going to have any take on that. You're free to form your own opinion on that, guys. Whatever it is what it is. Continuing on though, each Solar Crown race has certain restrictions on participation. These restrictions may involve the car category, year, make, a specific model, type of transmission allowed, which obviously they're talking about front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, or four wheel drive, the type of engine, thermal, obviously gas, hybrid, electric, and finally the car's PR, which performance rating is also one of the restrictions that they can have. Now each race always has at least one restriction, but there can be as many as 3, such as supercar, max year, 2010, and front wheel drive. That is an interesting one. And in addition to these restrictions, which already allow for an infinite number of race variations, there are different race types. And to take a look at some restrictions in past TDU games, well, this kind of reminds me of TDU1, where TDU1 actually had way more restrictions than TDU2. In TDU2, you were just limited to the vehicle class. Well, in this game, it's kind of like TDU1 but on steroids, because now in TDU1 you had events where you're locked by class and also by manufacturer and sometimes model as well. However, in this one they've taken it a lot further, adding in transmission type, the year, type of engine, and pretty much adding up to 3 different restrictions within the game. Moving on though, let's talk about the races in TDU SC. So you have circuit, which a race around the closed loop with checkpoints to cross. A number of laps can vary, basically a classic race as usual. You have sprint, a race from A to B via checkpoints that you absolutely must pass. Time attack, which are solo races in which you need to reach a given location via checkpoints and cross the finish line before the countdown ends. The faster you reach the finish line, the higher your ranking. In this game mode, you can also play against the ghosts of any player in the rankings, which is pretty interesting and very nice to see as well. You get to see what car they're driving, see the racing line, the routes they took and everything. Moving on, you also had domination, which is a pretty interesting take on a race. Now in this game mode, players earn points according to their position each time they reach a checkpoint. These are A to B races, and the player with the most points at the end of the race is the winner. In each race like this, there's a randomly determined rush checkpoint that doubles the points awarded at that location. And at the end of this part of the letter, it does say more race modes and challenges, including some very popular ones from TDU2, are also planned for post-launch updates. So what was in TDU2? Let's talk about it. So taking a look at TDU2 and comparing it to TDU SC and seeing which races are currently not available in TDU SC, the first one you had is the speed traps, which is pass each radar as fast as you can, and the final score is the average of all radar speeds, which on the screen you guys can see exactly how that worked. The next one that is yet to be present in TDU SC is an event called speed, which you had to reach the minimum speed to score points and score the most points to win. And basically, as you filled up your meter bar, which you can see on the screen right now, you earned more points faster, and that was just another event available. And the other one is elimination, which you guys already know how that one worked. Basically, you had to finish the race first place, and each lap the person who was in last place got eliminated. Now this one was kind of tedious, and I'm kind of happy it's not in TDSC, and if it does come back to TDC, I do hope it's kind of revamped. But to be fair, the way that they made the domination race, in my opinion, kind of replaces the eliminator anyways, so I definitely want to see other game modes entered first. And considering they did mention challenges, I just want to bring up the fact that we did have time bomb missions in TD, whether it be Jolt, Adrenaline, or even timed convoys or regular convoys, or even challenges where you just had to cruise. That was just all you had to do: deliver someone to a drop-off location and just cruise there. And of course, who can forget the co-op races that were available in TDU2? Obviously, one of them was follow the leader, and the other one being keep your distance, both of which you've probably seen me play on stream before. Keep your distance being where you and other players have to keep your distance in between each other and drive as far as you can, as fast as you can, to get a certain record. And then you also had follow the leader, being each time you hit a checkpoint, a new leader is presented, and basically it was like a race, but you had to do it in a timed fashion. But moving on, let's take a look at the race for the ultimate prize section of this letter. Now again, this letter is massive, guys. I'm going as fast as I can. Now, the purpose of the Solo Crown is to bring together the world's most influential drivers and also to determine who are the very best. That's why the Radiant has decided to set up a competition within the Solo Crown. Starting from level 20, various races are randomly selected in different districts of Hong Kong Island to become Solo Crown competition races. Why are they randomly selected? Quite simply because being the best driver in the Solo Crown means being more than being the best driver in your favorite car. You have to be the best in every car in your garage, and in the Solo Crown, the most well-rounded drivers are rewarded and celebrated. Now, by participating in these races, your position in the leagues changes according to where you finish in the races. Drivers can move up from bronze to diamond and reach the upper echelons of the Solo Court. which includes the best drivers from the Solar Crown. The best of this elite becomes the Solar King or Queen at the end of each season, becoming the new face of the Solar Crown. Now up on the screen, you guys can see exactly what they meant by this excerpt. You can see you're walking up in the Solar Hotel, and there's all these ranked races that appear randomly throughout the island that you can go to increase your rank in the Solar Crown competition. And as for the seasons, if we backtrack to the TDU Connect event, you can see up on the screen that there's a season ending date. Now, again, I don't want to say that this is how many days each season is going to be. Obviously, this is just an alpha build at the time, so it is not going to reflect the final build. But basically, in this same Solar Hotel, you'll be able to see a screen where each of the season ends, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do from there. Now, next, they have a screenshot of this, which you guys can see goes over the rankings, and finally ranked in an open world racing game. I don't know why Forza Horizon got rid of it from Forza Horizon 4 to Forza Horizon 5. It is what it is, but now they're going all in with this whole competition thing. And as you guys can see, you can see rewards. It gives you all these different rewards all the way up until there. The Solar King or Queen, of course. But moving on, yeah, participants are rewarded according to how high they place in the leagues. Members of the Solar Corp and the Solar King/Queen receive an exclusive new car. At the end of the season, participants' positions in the leagues are reset for the next competition. And notes from none other than lead game designer Guillaume Guinette. In Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, the experience is based on realistically depicting what it's like to drive the most prestigious cars on the planet. We also want to convey this in the racing experience by motivating players to push their vehicles to the limit. We've designed the competition so it would not only reflect the intensity of a closed track race, but also in a city reproduced at a 1-to-1 scale. That carries certain limitations with it, which means you have to know the strengths and weaknesses of each of your cars, install the right parts, and choose the right driving modes. The goal is not only to determine the best driver, but also who finds out who knows and manages their garages the best. Very cool there, guys. Moving on though, bro, this letter is crazy. A customized driving experience. We're nowhere near done. So it's important to think about how to optimize your car to maximize your chances of winning. But don't worry, you don't need to be an expert in mechanics to get results. In TDU SC, car optimization is both satisfying and accessible, which I must admit they have done a very good job of that, and I'm going to explain it in this video as well. So driving assist, whether you're a beginner who just wants to enjoy stress-free driving without risk of accident, or an expert with extensive road experience, the driving assists help you achieve your objectives through a range of essential settings. Now, you have ABS systems, which you guys already know. Traction control you have as well. The race line, which you can either turn off or have it on just bends or disabled, or obviously always visible. You have the gearbox, which you can set to semi-automatic or manual, which by the way, in semi-automatic, as you're driving, the gearbox actually doesn't shift at red lines. So if you're cruising, it actually shifts at a more optimal stage, just like it does in real life automatic vehicles, which is very nice to see. Although KT, I am hoping you add something with a manual clutch, just so that, you know, for people who use the clutch, we have the ability to stall our vehicle. And I mean, we kind of gone over this a lot, kind of similar to how TD1 does it, where whatever car you're in, it uses the correct gearbox if you're using a wheel with manual and clutch. Moving on though, to help you become familiar with the different settings, you can use one of the 3 available presets. Now you have novice, intermediate, or expert. These presets automatically change the settings to match your preferences. Adjusting these settings also determines how many solar coins you earn from activities on Hong Kong Island. Now the less you rely on driving assist, the greater the rewards. Kind of like any other game out there, guys. Moving on though, you have the car setup. Okay, now Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown aims to be realistic while also being fun and accessible. You feel players should have sufficient scope to make modifications that have a real and visible impact on the car, and the process should not leave the player feeling lost in a host of ultra-precise adjustments that often have negligible impact. Now, just like TD1 and TD2, you can focus your optimizations on several clear and concrete variables. Now you have acceleration power, which is torque. You also have top speed. You have braking and handling, and then it goes on to say there are different ways you can upgrade and optimize these variables. So here we go. In-depth, the workshop. Now in the trailer, it went over it pretty quickly, and I kind of already covered this in my trailer breakdown video, but we're gonna go more in depth this time because now we have more information to kind of cross-reference with the letter. So purchasing new mechanical parts. Now, as you mentioned, we talked about workshops in the solo letter number 1, which again, workshops are scattered throughout the island, and you can have up to 8 players within it, and each player that joins the actual workshop, you can see them working on their vehicle, customizing it. You can talk to them. Obviously, there's voice chat. Hopefully there's also text chat as well, so you can talk to people, share your setup information. So moving on, it does continue to say this is sometimes essential to meet the entry conditions for certain races. So some modifications directly affect your car's performance, like intake, exhaust, brakes, transmission, aerodynamics, cooling, etc., whereas others have more of an impact on the car's behavior in certain racing conditions. So you have close or wide gear ratio, tire choice depending on the surface, suspensions, and so on. Now, one of the screenshots provided is of this Mustang getting a brake upgrade, and key thing to notice is that it's actually on full slicks, and the texture for full slicks is actually full slicks. I'm gonna go over this in more detail comparing other different tire treads, but it's very nice to see an actual open world racing game change the actual tire textures when you change to different tire types. We love you, TDU, for going the extra mile for realism. Now, since we're going over tuning, let's quickly head back to what I like to say is the actual tuning area of the workshop. So again, performance, and you also have cosmetics. So let's continue on into this. So of course, you have the engine kit, which you can upgrade, and then as you go through the trailer frame by frame, because it actually speeds it up really quickly, you have intake and fuel, which obviously you can upgrade all of your vehicle's performance. You have ignition, valves, and camshaft. I went a little bit more detail of this in the trailer breakdown, so I'm gonna skim through it really quickly. You have all these different upgrades. Obviously, the price increase continues, and it also seems to be that you also have level unlocks as well. So I'd like to assume that as you progress through the game, in order to upgrade to performance or even sport or super sport or race, you have to get to a certain level to unlock these. And obviously, it seems the player isn't at a high enough level to unlock all of them, because you can see the level unlock right there for level 45. Now let's zoom back out. Continue on though, you upgrade your brakes. Brakes are upgraded. Suspension, again, you can change as well through these. You have off-road, all-road, super sport, and track, and I'm only going to assume that these are going to follow the same leveling route as before. Moving on, you have transmission kit, which is separated between the gearbox and the actual transmission. Now, just like it was saying, for gear ratios, you have stock, short, versatile, and long. Now, what these actually do is in the actual gear ratio tuning settings, and the game comes out, I will be able to show you this and explain it better. But basically, say for example, you have a stock gearbox, and that would mean that your gear ratio drive is between 2 and 3. If you change it to short, those two numbers will change. It'll give you more variety in order to increase or decrease your actual gearing ratios. So very cool. As you upgrade it, you'll have more options to go through. Continuing on, you have transmission, which obviously upgrades that part as well. Then you have aerodynamics, which again, it doesn't add any wings to it. However, it does improve your vehicle's actual handling ability and its aerodynamics, which you guys can see there. The tire tread, which again, thank you, KT. Now, I already showed you the Mustang with slicks, which I'll pop up on the screen again on this side of the screen for you guys really quick. But let's head back to the Mustang. Let's take a look. So you have all seasons with that tread there. Then let's zoom out really quick. You also have off-road, which look super thick on the off-road vehicles. I will never forget. I can't wait to have a lifted Ford Raptor with these tires on, with some beautiful off-road rims. I cannot wait. You also have some semi-slicks, which remind me of Toyo tires, very clean, and then obviously the slicks were on the Mustang. Moving on though, you have the ECU, which you can also upgrade in the game. Cosmetics, you have livery and cosmetic parts. You guys already saw the whole livery design from the trailer. Manufacturer, carbon, chrome, matte, metallic, pearlescent, satin, and solid. And of course, you also had a livery editor as well. These are the rims. I kind of already went over in the trailer that these rims are actually real life brands. You have KMC, and you also have Black Rhino, which is another brand in this game. I only assume that there's going to be more because these are more tailored towards off-road vehicles. So I'm super interested to see what road vehicle rims are going to have in the game. So other than that, you also have window tints, and then you can also change your interior customization at the workshop as well. Oh, and while I'm here, is that a gold chrome Corvette, which low-key kind of looks pretty nice? Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. So next we have driving modes, which is a pretty interesting feature within Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Now with driving modes, you can refine your settings for your cars. Now more experienced players can customize and set up their own modes, which will affect in a simplified way the speed, stability, handling, and braking. Now each vehicle has a stock or factory preset and 3 further presets among the following. So you have Sport for high-speed sports driving designed for racing on major thoroughfares like motorways, uses precise steering adapted to high-speed maneuvers, and Sport mode retains flexible handling suited for city driving and makes it easier to cross sidewalks. You have Trail, which for racing on dirt or gravel. This preset has responsive steering and a close gear ratio for frequent acceleration. You also have Dynamic, which is orientated toward urban racing in confined areas and uses a close gear ratio for frequent acceleration. Off-road, which is for safe driving on all surfaces. You also have Rain for wet conditions and safe driving on slippery surfaces. You have Circuit, a responsive but challenging driving mode. It uses a wide ratio to get the most from the engine power, and it stabilizes the vehicle, but it makes it more sensitive to road hazards. Then you also have Cross Country, which is suited for crossing obstacles. It uses a close gear ratio to improve a lots of torque and has more flexible suspension. This mode makes you more competitive off-road. And of course you have Relaxed, which is the safest and most comfortable driving mode suited for cruising and exploration. Now up on the screen is a screenshot of all of this, which you guys can see. You can also change between your tires on the fly if you have them available. So you obviously have to purchase those first, and if you want to, if you scroll up on the driving mode, there's a section where you can actually customize all of these settings, make your own drive mode even, and actually go very in detail with the tuning, exactly as you read in this letter. If you want to change the gear ratio, you can do that. You want to change your spring rate, your suspension, that's all available to you in this drive mode menu. Now last but not least, we have the summary of the closed playtest 2. So a few weeks ago, we gave over 5,000 players the chance to try out TDU SC experience for a short time in playtest 2. As well as once again noting your enthusiasm for the game, for which we thank you. It was a major step in development process, allowing us to test the game features and certain technical aspects on a larger scale. Now, the playtest allowed us to test different types of servers and identify areas for improvement so we can ensure you get the best possible multiplayer experience, which again is pretty much needed for this game to launch well. Now, continue on, just say we'd like to confirm that there will be a new closed playtest in the coming weeks. It will be open to even more people and regions. So if you didn't get in last time because of your region, it seems they're going to be opening it up a lot more now. Now, those who took part in playtest number 1 and 2 will automatically be invited to join. However, there will be the same strict rules of confidentiality, which again means no streaming, no captures, and sharing are not allowed. Now, if you haven't yet done so, you can register for the TDU registration form at the website, which I'll link below. All you have to do is sign up for the newsletter, and that's all you gotta do. You'll be getting an email whenever this happens to sign up for the actual playtest, and then if you get in, sign an NDA, and then you're able to get into the playtest. And then to end off this letter, they do say, we hope this long Solar Club letter has given you significant insight into the experience that awaits you in TDU SC, especially those of you who enjoy the competitive aspect. So, are you street or sharp, cruiser or racer? I'm a street, and honestly, I'm cruising and I'm racing. And hopefully I'm really interested to see where the marketing takes off next, because as we all know, this game is still slated for early 2024, and the con does like to give dates and pre-orders very like, I want to say a month, or probably, honestly, I wouldn't even say 2 months. I'd say like a month, a little bit more than a month before a game launches is when they announce stuff like that. So hopefully you might get another letter at the end of January discussing what's next for the game, something like that. And that's all I have to say for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, oh wait, hold on, I'm just kidding, not yet. Let's take a look at this new Corvette gameplay on wheel for Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Okay, so here we are, some new Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown gameplay on wheel in the C701 Corvette. Huge shots Casey for sending this one to me. The wheel is a Logitech G Pro being played on 720 degrees. Just gonna pull over here on the side of the road and activate some launch control, which no flames. This engine sound is so beautiful. the sense of speed. Bro, when you're in a Bugatti, let alone this car. Oh man. All right, welcome. Let's see what we're gonna do here. Just like the trailer. Now I want to point out this build is an older build, by the way. So since then there have been more improvements on, for example, particles, so even smoke coming up. Hella parked cars. Physics are mint. And obviously the Sheco workshop, which you guys know is located on the southern part of Hong Kong Island. Beautiful color purple, just like that. Bring up the radio, turn off the car, and just listen to the ambiance. Guys, I will have some more TDU SC videos coming up in the near future, so if you did enjoy, leave a like and subscribe for more content. You already know what it is, guys. I'm Alex7, and I'll see you guys in another video. Hold on, let's head real quick to the interior. Yeah, there we go. Shout out to KT, man. I'm Alex7. I'm out, guys. Peace.